Have you ever shot a shooting competition before? Me neither. You know, with the explosion of shooting competition, I decided that I really wanted to get into it, and so I'm going to shoot my very first shooting competition right now. Now, this is a bit of a different video, guys. I'm gonna tag along with some of my friends who shoot competition on the regular, and since this is my first time, they said, CJ, why don't you go ahead and make a fool of yourself and vlog it for the whole YouTube audience to see? And I said, okay, that's fine. So I'm gonna go to the range right now and shoot my first ever competition with my friends, and hopefully by the end, you guys will be inspired to go do it yourself, because maybe it's not as intimidating as you might think, but let's go find out for ourselves, guys. We made it. So let's go look at the stages, walk some stages, and see what we're working with out here. Hey, editor CJ here, and one thing that I didn't touch on while we were out there is getting signed up properly. And in order to do that, I needed to have an understanding of my division. Now, this can be kind of complicated, so I would recommend checking out the USPSA website or this video right here for a full breakdown of divisions and how they work, because what I learned was that I could bring almost any handgun or PCC I wanted, but based on the type of gun and modifications I have on it, like red dots, magwells, and compensators, and so on, I needed to see what division I would be in. If you don't know what division your gun will put you in when you're signing up, just let them know that you're not sure what division you're in, and they will usually ask you a few questions about your gun and get you put in the right spot. For my first match, I was shooting my Shadow Systems MR920, which has a red dot and an extended magwell, so that put me in the open division, which allows for modifications, including frame-mounted optics, magwells, and even compensators if I had one of those. So when I first got there, I found my boss Charlie, who got there before me, and he started walking me through some stages and giving me the lay of the land.
Biggest thing for your first match, focus on getting hits. Do not worry about speed at all. Yeah. You will never zero a stage if you get your hits. Now, you might get a low hit factor, but the only way you zero a stage is by getting penalties, misses, stuff like that.
Okay, so we got the lay of the land. Anyway, we're just gonna go load some mags up, and then we will get to shooting, so let's go. Okay.
How you feeling right now, CJ?
Oh, nervous. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go backwards like this one needs to go, but let's see how this guy does. So you can see here, this stage is actually pretty complicated. The timer goes off, you take a step back, pull the gun out of the holster, and then start shooting. Now, the interesting thing that I thought was fascinating was having to follow the 180 rule, which basically means the gun has to be pointed downrange at all times. So that means sometimes you have to run a little bit goofy with the gun pointed downrange and, you know, obviously pointed in a safe direction at all times. That kind of threw me off a little bit, so I had to just kind of mentally prepare. And let me tell you, watching someone like this who was just going really fast and watching his cadence of reloads and something that he made look easy, but totally not something I was ready for.
Now how are we feeling?
That guy's fast. I'm not gonna be that fast. So then it was my turn, and I got up to the line, I loaded my gun, and I was totally unprepared for what was about to happen next, because the combination of having to think about what I was doing in terms of movement, and then also trying to aim accurately and stay safe, follow the 180 rule, made me forget about all kinds of other things, like how many targets there were. I actually completely missed this target over here on the right, and so I didn't get a chance to hit that one and couldn't even think about doubling back. And then also just worrying about the fundamentals of marksmanship, good grip, all the things that you need to worry about in order to hit targets successfully while also shooting correctly. And the biggest thing that I learned here was reloads, honestly. Throughout my day, I kept forgetting about how many rounds were in my gun. And so you can see right here, I just run out of rounds and had to do a quick reload, whereas if I was proactive with that, I could have been a lot faster. Then I got up to the line and shot my last two targets. It was taking me a while to find my dot in the blinding sunlight, and then it was all over. It went by really fast, even though it was a whole 47 seconds while I was out there. All right, so I just did my first stage, and it goes by fast. You can have a plan, and it doesn't really matter. As soon as you forget one thing, it all goes out the window. First time, like my coach has been saying, just
focus on getting the target, sight picture, don't worry about speed, safety, sight picture, and then shoot. Those are the things that we should be worrying about the first time. Always remember to help with pasting targets.
If you're going for the first time and you don't have any other friends there like me, then it's a good idea to look for someone called the match director. Tell them that this is your first time shooting. They will help you get signed up in the proper division, talk you through what is going on, kind of like what Charlie is doing with me here, and then they will assign you to a squad. Now, if you don't know, a squad is basically a small group of shooters that will be shooting the stages with you. This helps speed things up so that multiple smaller groups can go through different stages at the same time. One thing that's a great idea is to introduce yourself to your squad and tell them that this is your first time shooting. I know this could be embarrassing, but they are going to give you a ton of pointers and help you out during your day shooting. They're a really welcome and open community, and they're super welcoming to new shooters as well. So give it a try. So after everyone had their chance to shoot, we moved to the next stage where I, by far, did the worst. During this stage, I didn't count my ammo correctly, and I actually ran out of rounds before the end of the stage, so I took a big, big L on this stage, guys. After that stage, it was time for the next one, where I thought I did pretty well, but I actually missed a whole target. If you look really closely right here, you can see where I looked directly at the target and didn't shoot it. I don't know what happened there. I think the game broke for me a little in my brain, but whatever. It was on to the next stage after that. Then it was on to the last stage, and I still missed a couple of targets, so I suppose I'm not as good of a shooter as I thought, guys. Still not great, but hey, I was learning every stage I was going on. And that's pretty much it, guys. What I learned was that if you think you're a pretty good shooter and you've never done any kind of shooting competition before, well then this is the place to go to get humbled. And I learned that I still have a ton to learn when it comes to shooting competition. I'm thinking maybe I should do a little bit more training, maybe buy some extra tools to get better at it, maybe talk to a grandmaster or a master USPSA shooter to help train me up, or I can just get started right away with some dry fire. And I actually made a whole video about how to do it for free if that's something you want to get into, which you can check out right over here.